Hi, everyone. We are live. Today is Thursday, March 24th. As you well know, it's interview day. And so before we go on with the interview, let's take care of a few housekeeping things. If you are joining us live, in the comment down below, hashtag, all right, type in hashtag live. Or if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, and do tell us where you're from. As you well know, I'm coming in from Mexico, and my guest today is from Canada. And so, the other thing that I want to mention is if you would like to comment on anything that's said today, you will see that there's a strip above that says StreamYard. Click on that and allow StreamYard to use your name, all right, so that we can see who is commenting. Otherwise, you will come across as Facebook user, and we definitely want to know who is joining us. For example, all right, so we know that we have one viewer now, and I don't know who it is. So give StreamYard your the permission to use your name. All right. So what we have in common, my guest today is, you know what? We're both teachers. All right. We may not be teaching now, but we were in our other lifetime, both teachers, both caregivers, where we ended up taking care of our parents. We're both PNers. Now, that's the Progress Next program that comes after the KBB. As you well know, Tony and Dean's Graciosi's KBB program got launched in 2019, at the end of 2019. And in 2021, they launched the next program, which was called Progress Next. And so we are both part of the Progress Next program. And then, of course, we both have some of the same mentors, Tony, Dean Graciosi, John Assarat, and so many more. And presently, we're both in the same world-class business coaching with Maya Comerota. And so we're both taking our business to a whole different level. So without any further ado, let's meet my awesome guest, Ditas. Ditas, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Amazing. Beautiful day.
Right.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for taking the time today and to be with us. I'm very honored and very pleased to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very
Now,
welcome.
I know that I told my audience, Ditas, that you are in Canada right now. Were you born in Canada?
No, no,
Where
not
were you
in
born?
Canada. I born in southern part of a small town in the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, um, I just want to. I have this weird question to ask you. Most people want to go to the United States. Why did you want to go to Canada? Why Canada?
That's beautiful question.
Hmm.
My sister invited me here, come
Okay.
over like twice. And there's something like in Canada that really like speaks to my heart. And my uncle, he
Right.
also, yes, he also lived here in Canada for quite a time.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you were sponsored by your sister, and you
yes.
came to Canada because of your sister, also, right? So
Hmm.
tell me. I know that you were married at one point, and you do have a son.
Yes,
Did you? And they're both in Canada, also, are they not?
yes,
And
yes,
were you able then to sponsor them to
yes,
come to Canada?
yes. It is really my heart's desire to come to Canada for expansion and growth. Like I'm
Mhm.
really hungry for that. And at the same time, I like to have this to show and give my son and the opportunity at the same time the dad to really see the bus opportunity, so I was able to sponsor them
Oh,
coming
how
here.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we have a little comment here from Lena Nouri who says, "Hello, Lena from Afghanistan." And she is now living in Switzerland. So, we're so global. Here I am. I was born in Canada. I don't know if you knew that. I lived in the United States for 35 years, and now I'm in Mexico. And there you were born in the Philippines, and now you're living in Canada. And Lena, who's from Afghanistan, is now living in Switzerland. So we
Amazing.
are global trotters for sure, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, let's talk a little bit about your. Let me see how I can. Let's talk a little bit about your background. I know that you had a very happy background in the southern Philippines. You were a family of five. Where did you fit in that family of five?
Oh, I was I think that, yeah, the third among the siblings of four.
Mm-hmm.
And I have also my first cousin living with us.
Okay, so
Yes.
that made your family fun. And then I remember when we had a conversation at one point, your father and your grandfather decided to move to the big city, right?
Yes.
To the
Yes.
big city. Was that before the Civil War broke out or in 1974? And a lot of people don't know what happened there, but there was an
Yes.
insurgency, right? Was
Yes.
that before the Civil
Yes.
War?
Yes. They had big plans, like my mom, my parents,
Mm-hmm.
and in support with my grandparents also, like to move forward for growth, for expansion, bringing the family over
Mm-hmm.
to the city, another city. And yeah, that was before the war, 1979.
Oh, it was 1979, was it? Okay,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry for the mistake. Thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
So, did the Civil War affect you and your family at all?
I can only speak through myself.
Uh-huh.
Little did I know, yes. There's a huge, like I would say, huge impact on me. Yes.
How old were you then?
Oh, I was 7 years old that time.
Oh,
Grade one.
you were in grade one, so it did
Yeah.
affect you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, what happened? How did it affect your family? I mean, did you lose everything? Did you?
Yeah. That time, early morning, we were already like, we are already ready to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And one morning, we just hear gunshots and machine guns and
Oh my,
helicopter. But wow, what fascinates me even up to now, I remember my mom. She was so calm and she prepares our breakfast. And yeah, I was just observing that morning, and we flee from the city. Our house got burned.
oh my God.
Yeah, what we have is just our clothes and a bunch of other things that like toiletries, but everything like all went down.
So you can imagine I'm sure that you have some solidarity with what's happening in the Ukraine today.
Oh
I
yes.
mean, you actually live that. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
Tell me, how, so you were 7 years old. You moved to the big city. What big city was that?
The It's Zamboanga City.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
nothing that I would know, but it's a
Hmm.
big city. So you grew up there,
Yes.
and it sounds like your mother was a big impact in your life, right? That she was a very strong woman, right?
Yes. And yes. And so with my dad, like my dad is also one person we're in jolly, very lighthearted. But then with mom, like when we flee to Zamboanga City, we started from scratch and mom stood up and she take the stand like being the breadwinner.
Wow.
Yes. And she started working with odd jobs, same time taking care of the ailing parents, my grandparents, and there is a grandchild, also the first grandchild, my sister's daughter, and us also, like six of us going to school that time.
Oh my God. And I know that with the Philippine culture, education is a big, big thing. Was it in your
Yeah,
family?
it is. It is. Yes. Yeah.
because I just want to let you know that when you taught in the elementary school, I taught in the secondary school. I just want to let you know that my best students were from the Philippines. My
Oh,
Filipino students were my best students.
wow.
And they were so kind, and I love that culture. They were just so kind and sweet, and good students, good students.
Yeah.
And I used to have conversations with them, and they said because their parents really kind of looked up to education, that education was really very an important value, right?
Yes. Yes.
Family
Indeed.
value.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
So
they,
is that why you became a teacher?
that's very interesting question. That's my second course. Like my first course was nutrition and dietetics. So yeah, so
Was
after,
that in college? Was that like
yes, yes,
so?
the
So that was like
Bachelor
a
of
major.
Science.
That was
Yes,
like your emphasis, your
yeah,
major, and then your second. So you had multiple certification. It
yes,
sounds like.
yes. I have multiple. I just love studying. So yeah, so I took education not because I don't, not because like in mind I want to be a teacher. In fact, I have fear talking in front of students. I still remember back in college days, I would sit at the farthest end, hiding from my teacher
Oh
because,
wow.
yeah. So my first choice of going to have a second degree is to take
Uh-huh.
nursing, take the nursing course, but I'm just so afraid with the interview, and I decided no, I cannot take it. So my friend invited me. She saw me and asked me, Ditas, what are you doing? And I
Mhm.
said, I want to study. And she
Mhm.
goes, I am on education, taking education course. Would you like to go with me? So I just go with the flow and
Go with the flow.
enroll.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. And I enroll myself.
Oh wow. So you got to and then did you become a teacher?
Yes. I
How
became
long did you do that?
yes, I became a teacher, and I believe I had also one of the best mentor there. I truly like, even in my nutrition degree, I have
Mhm.
also one of the best mentor. And when I had my teaching, my first teaching job, first in college,
Mhm.
and moved to elementary, I was just like all the time I was just trembling, and keep I keep on asking myself, why am I here?
Right.
Why am I here? I don't like being like, I'm so uncomfortable speaking in front of the audience or the people or these students.
Students. Yeah. So that was tough for you, right? That was
Oh,
very
it was.
uncomfortable.
Yes.
So what did you do? So obviously you left the education. What did you do after that?
I left the education because I one reason is my sister sponsor me
Okay. Oh,
coming to
it was
Canada.
it
Yes.
was time to go
And
to Canada.
yes, and in my heart, like something is telling me there's more out
Uh-huh.
there. It's more out there. So I've been telling my students, few months from now you won't see me. So the opportunity came, and I burned my bridges, like I resigned from
Wow.
work, leave everything behind, and
Once
yes,
again, leaving everything behind.
yes,
Wow. Wow. So then you moved to Canada. That's very, very brave. So that's interesting. I know I'm just going to digress a little bit. I know that Filipinos are, or in the Philippine culture, Catholicism is very big, right? They're very fervent Catholics for the most part. Was that so with your family?
Yes,
And
yes.
how did that affect you in any way, if it did?
In a way, at first, when I was trying to understand things and I was like observing and absorbing
Mhm.
everything, like my family is really like, especially with my grandparents, they are really like I still remember my grandfather said, I born Catholic and I will die Catholic.
That sounds
So
very much like a Catholic. My mother used to say the same thing.
yes, and I also have a an aunt who joined the convent. So even my grandmother and
Hmm.
my mom, later my mom, like, oh my God, the church is their second, like their
Home.
second home. Yes.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, how did that affect you? Did you feel that that was a plus in your life, or was that kind of restricting, a feeling of restriction for you? Because
Well,
for young ladies to grow up Catholic, very often, I know I grew up Catholic,
yeah.
and so it was hard because of certain things that you couldn't do if you were Catholic,
Yes. Yes.
And so, how was it for you?
I'd really say like it serves me well that
Hmm.
time growing up, being like obedient and like respectful, especially with the elders,
Yeah.
and doing my diligence. But then as I grew up, and like for example, like going to college and took my career on different level,
Hmm.
I felt like something that I need to understand even better, even like dig deeper, because
Right.
somehow it helps me. But on another aspect, let's say I'm afraid, like guilt
Right.
feelings or this self talk
Shame.
telling me, you
Right.
know, like
So,
you're not,
so it
yeah,
created limiting beliefs, didn't it?
yes,
It created
yes,
limiting beliefs because
yeah,
I know because I went through that too. So we have similar backgrounds that way. So I totally understand how it was for you because it was the same for me. And I'm an older generation than you are, so it was even more so. So and it was very, very common for at least one of the girls to go into the nunnery and one of the boys to go into the priesthood. I mean, that was always expected in the family, wasn't it? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Hmm.
I'm the one that was thinking of going into the nunnery. I got as far as the novitiate, and then I couldn't take that vow of obedience. Of
Wow.
all vows, it was a vow of obedience that I couldn't take. So anyway,
Mhm.
so I
That's really that's really interesting when you say that, Lucy, because you know why? One point in my life, I stayed like for 2 weeks. I left my city and I went to this province and I stayed in the convent for 2 weeks, discerning what I want to do with my
yeah.
life.
Well, it sounds like you're very kind of spiritual. So, there's a difference between spirituality and religion. So, I know that you got into, and you're an entrepreneur today. So, I know as an entrepreneur, we're all into self development. When
Yes.
did your self development kind of happen in your life?
I think it started way back when I finished my course in nutrition, and I was asking, like, started to ask this question. So, like, curiosity sets
Yeah.
in
Hmm.
what I will, what I want to do with my life. And this continues, like, continuously, this bunch of questions. And it came to me one day while I was teaching in the elementary, well, teaching with the elementary pupils. Like, every time I'm there in the classroom in front of 50 kids, their eyes, they are just look at me in way and wonder, and they taught me great lessons. And that's where this very powerful question, I would say. This nudge, like I ask myself, how can I serve better? So
Wow.
that started everything for me.
Now, Ditas, how old were you? Because that's very unusual. I mean, people, well, I don't know if this is very unusual. I can only speak for myself. It happened late in my life when I turned 50, and you're way, way less than 50 years old. When did that start for you? That that
That
that that burning desire, burning question, there's more to life. What am I meant
I
to do?
I think that powerful question came around when I was in like late 20s.
Wow.
Yes, late 20s.
And who was your mentor at the time? Who was most influential for you? Who was the
There
greatest
were
influencer?
lots, I would say, even up to now, like there were lots of them, but the one who really steers everything for me, like opening up for me, was Dr. Andre.
Okay, what was special about Dr. Andre? Don't know who he
Mhm.
was, or could you tell us a little bit about him?
Yes. Dr. Andre San Agustin is a Filipino.
Okay.
So he is also like born with a family that is really so poor, and the mom is just like a like laundry woman. But
Oh,
he has this big like burning desire, and he was able to go to the States with just a meager amount of $20 in his pocket. And from there, he was able to bring all the family to the States and be able to create this, like go after his dreams and become one of the best teacher. And he is
Well,
also into this self development, the spirituality, the EQ and the SQ.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that? Did you say EST? Is that what you
Um, he is into this spiritual quotient and emotional quotient.
said? Okay.
Yes. So he is into this leadership training, and
Okay.
what he learned. What is mind blowing is this: what he learned from all these trainings in the States, he brought it back to the Philippines
Wonderful.
because the nudge tells him go back and teach the people.
And that's what he did. And you were one of
Yes.
his students. Now,
Yeah.
you also were another student of a famous neuroscientist, right? I mean, because you feature yourself as a neuro coach. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into that, how you met this neuroscientist, what was going on in your mind? Well, I mean, why that interest? That's very interesting to me.
Yes. That start all it all started with the question, how can I serve?
Yeah.
So when I started asking myself this powerful question, and nudge said, go from within, shut the door.
Oh,
And literally, I did. And from then, I started reading books. I started learning things like trying to understand about myself and doing this meditation and everything. And it led me to Canada, going to Canada. And still, like in Canada, I was searching for, like, there's something missing. And I know in my heart I can give more and be
mhm.
more. So
Yeah.
I started searching online, and until I met John Asaraf. And from there, it led me to Mark Robert Waldman, is one of the best neuroscientists researcher in the world. So that's how I came about, like falling in love with taking the program NeuroCoach and the advanced certified or advanced trauma centered NeuroCoach.
Oh, I see. And so, you had some life challenges. I mean, at 7 years old, you experienced that war. I mean, that's traumatic for a 7-year old. uh, the family having to leave everything behind, family not able to explain to a 7-year old, we just have to go. We just, you don't never have time to sit down and explain to a 7-year old. So you can imagine the trauma that you went through. Was that very helpful for you then?
It was really very, very helpful. But at first, I cannot understand because all I can ever see and experience, observe, is the chaos in the house. But the
Hmm.
love was there,
Right.
tough, I would say, tough love,
Tough love.
but amazed that there is like the arguments and things like that. So that adds on to my question. I go, I'm confused.
Right.
And yes, when I get into the neurocoach, then the questions started to, all these questions, it started to unfold by itself. And I got the answers.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And so that also allowed you to want to help others. And so that's why you brand yourself, you feature yourself as a neuro coach, right? And
Yes,
you're still you're actually, from what I understand, you actually build teams, you actually work with teams, you work training people in that
yes, yes. I
area.
had this way back in the Philippines. I also joined this, like, aside from being a teacher, I'm also doing some part-time jobs.
Hmm.
So right there and then I was being trained to build my team, because also of huge, like, amazing mentors I have right there with my direct selling.
Hmm.
So I am really familiar with it, and I'm really like always on the go with trainings and everything, all that stuff. So yeah, that really helped me a lot, like especially in building my confidence and self-esteem.
Yes, I guess you had to go through all that, right? It was,
Yeah,
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 it was, yeah, absolutely. So that's so interesting. So uh, let me ask you a question, because you're talking about training. So you're a trainer. You're also a coach. What do you prefer to do? Do you prefer to coach one-on-one, group coach, or do you prefer to train people? Where's your biggest interest, I
yeah.
should ask.
That's really a mind-blowing question, Lucy. For now, like, I see myself really doing one-on-one, because I can really see, like, I'm one person wherein I'm so sensitive with people's energy, and that's the gift that I was able to discover. And for now, like, the need of my client is more on one-on-one, so I can hold their hand and dive into that abyss, like getting to know, understand themselves better, and hold their hand until they can see the light. But then at the back of my mind, I also have this desire, like huge burning desire, to help, like, in a huge group.
So actually, both are kind of in the back of your background. So, but you prefer, at this point, you are working with one-on-one clients, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
What
yes.
kind of tools? I don't know if this is a fair question. What kind of tools does a neuro coach use? That because there are a lot of transformational coach, a lot of people that do Reiki. They I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it Reiki, um, um, uh, whatever they call training, or they call them healing. You
Yes,
know, what kind of tools do you use in your coaching?
yes. What is so interesting, and I would say mind-blowing kind of modality we have in the neurocoach program is we use this evidence-based research training,
Okay.
wherein we had to help the person, the client, like, have this experiential training using the relaxed, mindful awareness,
Hmm.
bring themselves into the present moment.
So it's experiential. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
Hmm.
it's like shutting the Frankenstein right side of your brain and opening up the genius part of your brain, being into the present moment and tap into the three brain network theory until you get that aha moment.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, that sounds fascinating. Fascinating. Oh my God. So what kind of ideal client, or who is your ideal client at this point?
My ideal client is I love to help working women ages
Okay.
25 to 60 years old to go connect with their divine energy from within,
Mm-hmm.
be in alignment with the God's essence in them so that they can live their life with passion, purpose, and abundance in every dimension.
So would you say that your ideal client has to be a spiritual person?
Not necessarily, because I believe like we start from where we are,
Mm-hmm.
and from there we are opening up. If we are ready, we are opening up, we are unfolding this huge, I would say, this energy that's within us and through us. And how much are we ready? That's It depends on us. So be it like if you're a spiritual person or you don't believe in like what you call the atheist, or you don't have any religion, or you have multi. So it's for everybody who is really hungry to come home from within.
Okay. To go within and examine. Okay. Usually, your clients. Do you have a program, or how does it work? I mean, they they would call you up. They'd have a consult with you to see if you were the right coach for them. Then do you have a specific or customized program for your client? How do you do it? How do you work?
For now, I am on the process of building my program. It's
Okay.
already like on paper.
Okay.
So the ideal client is if they're like they're so curious and they are so hungry, they want to move forward but they cannot understand, or something stuck within them and they want to find out, so they can contact me. Like they can ask me, or they can inquire something from me and see if it is like the modality that I am teaching, if it is good for them, it
Mhm.
works for them.
Right. So, so do you have, usually when they contact you, do you have kind of an assessment that you do with them over the telephone?
Yes, yes. It depends really like on, it's not really for me to say, okay, this one is good, this one is not good,
Right.
this one is, like it depends really on them. Like
Okay.
if like I would present everything on the plate and I would give them, this is the cool thing, I would give them this experiential training and let them see if in 60 seconds their stress level will go down.
Wow. Wow.
So if they like it, we go to the next level. I will give them the intake form. They had to answer very important questions about themselves. It's confidentiality. It's really confidential. And from there, we will come up with a schedule.
Okay. And usually, okay, you said you were working on a program that's on paper. So is this a course that you're putting together, or a workshop, or what form does it have? What's the platform?
Okay. For now, I have this one-on-one training
Mm-hmm.
with the client, because it's more on walking them, either they have this childhood trauma, either mild, moderate, or severe. So it's really very like customized.
Okay.
And at the same time, like on my plate right now, I have this for my slides for this compassionate communication, and the program or the course that I'm going to build, so that people will get to know me as the neurocoach.
Okay, I see. I see. So, you know, where you are in the coaching, you have a business coach, like the same business coach that I have. What are you hoping to accomplish with Maya Kumarota? I mean, that may be an unfair question to ask you.
No, I love your question. That's a mind blowing question, because why will I say it's mind blowing? Because when I started, like I was searching, I was really like searching for the best, like love to work with world class, because
Mhm,
way back in the Philippines, my mentors, my bit in direct selling, everything, even up to now, they are
mhm.
world class, and I love them to pieces. With now on the next level, like my project, world project, is just so huge. Like I was telling Maya this morning on the coaching call, what I'm receiving is a waterfall of information. And
Waterfall of information. Now, Dita, can you I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you clarify that a little bit for me? I mean, I'm thinking waterfall information. I do know that spirit talks to me, but can you be a little more precise with me?
yes, before, when I had this nudge talking to me at the back of my head saying,
Hmm.
go from within, shut the door. I
Love that.
literally, I did. But then as I am unfolding things by itself, like naturally, that time I had this when I learned to meditate, and that was 27 years ago. And
Well,
it was mind blowing. And that's where I realized that I had this gift. So back then, it freaks me out. Like I would stop. But then still the yearning is there. So I continue.
hmm,
So now with Maya is really, it gives me a gentle, she's walking me and giving me like a gentle reminder of who I truly am.
hmm,
And I would say it brought me back to the question, how can I serve? So
hmm.
right now when I say, okay, I fall on my knees for a couple of times and I say, okay, yes, I am ready. I am accepting everything with so much love, peace, and joy and gratitude. Now, this huge, like ginormous waterfall is just flowing to me right now. So I'm just grateful. Like, okay, Maya said, okay, you need to celebrate and just let it go. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, this is so wonderful. So, Adidas, if somebody wanted to contact you and possibly have a what I call a discovery call or just a chat with you, I know that in the particular here we have contact details by email, hi joy vibration 18 at gmail.com. Is that how they would contact you? Is that the best way for them to contact you?
Yes, yes.
By
I
email.
love to I love I love to receive any like inquiry from the people who is listening
Okay.
to this session. And they can also go right into Facebook and type in Ditas Tan, and let's have like, I am really so happy and open to have a chat with them.
Okay, great. So they can just go to Facebook, put in Ditas. I mean, you have an unusual name, Ditas Tan.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Tan is much more of a Chinese family name than a Philippine. How does that work?
Yeah, that's the last name of my dad. And
Uh-huh.
the Ditas name, Ditas is that's the my family.
Hmm.
I'm really fondly called by my name Ditas.
Okay.
Yeah, but my friends they call me Bernie, and I give them the space to use that name. Yeah.
So you're called Bernie or Ditas, but
Yes.
basically your coach name, your professional name is Ditas, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Tan is from your dad who was Chinese.
Yes.
And we have Carol Hart who says, "I'm here, so thrilled to at least get in on the latter part. I hope, Carol, you didn't have too much time, but I see that you gave SteamYard the opportunity to use your name. So thank you, Carol, for being here with us." She says, "I'm so happy to be here in the live with you." And so here she says, "Wonderful, wonderful Ditas Tan." Do you know Carol?
No, not for now.
Well, she has been in. I think she may have been with the X Factor with Maya. So you may have.
Maybe, yeah. Yes. Yes.
So she also says, "I sure do understand the waterfall." So she understands it. Perfect, Carol. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right. So that's very confirming and that's very affirming. And so thank you. And she says, "Yes, I was." She was in the X Factor, I think.
Oh, amazing, amazing,
So
Carol.
that's probably
Thank
where you
you.
saw her name.
Yeah.
And she's a quiet soul, and she was taking it all in because I watch her. Carol is one of these wonderful ladies that she's also a coach, and she also works with people with trauma.
Wow.
So
Love
yeah.
it. Love it.
So Carol, meet Ditas. Ditas, meet Carol.
Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing.
So, Ditas, thank you. So, that would be if anybody wants to contact you, they can either go to Facebook, put in Ditas Tan, that's DITAS, Ditas Tan, TAN, or by email, highjoyvibration18 at gmail.com, or they can contact you through Messenger. And so, Carol says, "Zita, I had a violent childhood advice and didn't want to miss a second of you." So she's
Wow.
waving to you. She's waving to you.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow. That's amazing.
exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I just want to thank you, Ditas, for your time. I know how busy everybody is. I know how busy you are. I am honored that you were able to spend the time here with us. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes,
But,
Lucy, it's really my privilege, and really I take this space and really honor you for for this time together. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
well, are there any last words that you want to say to my audience? If you had to give them a bit of advice, or as you know, I do these interviews in the hopes to encourage women to go online, all right, to share their message, and especially those who don't know where to start or who to trust. So,
Yes.
do you have any final words that you would like to share?
Yes, for all of you out there who is listening to this live stream, all I ever want to share with you is this, like a very simple question. Are you yearning for more? Is there something that you really love doing? And at the same time, like you're stuck somewhere. Let me help you find it. Because you know what, Lucy? For every 10 people that we come in contact with, like day to day, even our relatives or friends, every 10 people, we have at least like 4 or 5 who has this childhood trauma,
Oh, absolutely. I do.
from mild, moderate to severe. So
Mhm.
if you're just one of those who really like yearning, like something nudge is whispering to you, yet it is so loud that it doesn't go away, pay attention to that and send me a message through Facebook, Ditas Tan Messenger, message me in the messenger, or send me an email, highjoyvibration18 at gmail.com.
Okay, so Carol says Dita is a great place to start because most everyone has some degree of CPTSD. Well, somebody's going to have to explain that to me.
Mhm.
Oh, childhood post-traumatic stress.
Wow.
Thank you,
Yes.
Carol. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so thank you, Carol, for being here with us. Thank you, Wilma, for being here with us, because I do see that Wilma, she and I are good friends. Wilma Gonzalez, thank you for being here. Ditas, again, one more time, I want to thank you for being here. And I certainly want to thank my audience. Thank you for everybody. If you're seeing this as a replay, just if you have any questions, put them in the comments. And Ditas will be checking the comments to see if she can answer any questions for you. So Carol's last words are thank you. She's thrilled that she's here. We're thrilled to have you, Carol. Thank you. Wilma as well. And so everybody, tune in next week for another one of my awesome guests. Again, everybody, goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.